All right guys, today we're going to be covering the pressing sequence. We're going to start with the strict press, then we're going to go to push press, push jerk, and then split jerk. So starting with the strict press, the bar is in the rack. So we always want to make sure that we're taking the bar to and from the rack on our shoulders, not our hands. So we don't want to grab the bar and pull it towards us. We're going to come to the bar. So first and foremost, my grip on the bar is going to be about a thumb's distance outside of my shoulders. So I'm going to grip the bar. I'm going to wrap my elbows around the bar first, giving this bar to my shoulders. Then I'm going to pop it up off the rack and then come back. So when I'm pressing, I want my feet to be right under my hips. So I'm not in a wide stance. They're just right here under my hips. And then the bar is slightly resting on my shoulders right now. And then my forearms should be fairly vertical. So if you come out and your forearms are like W's or you're doing this number, then you need to adjust your hands. Make sure they're like pillars underneath the bar. From here, I'm going to squeeze my quads, squeeze my glutes. I'm going to pull my head back, send this bar right over the top, lock it out when I get to the top. The top position, the bar should be lined up with the back of your head, not out here in front and not hyperextended like so. All right, so it should be right over the back of your head, lined up over your scapulas, over your heels. I'm going to come back down, lightly tap, and then come back up. Looks like this. As I'm pressing the bar up, as you can notice, I'm bringing my head kind of back through this window so that the bar finishes lined up with the back of my head. That is the strict press. Push press, now we get to involve a little bit of our legs. So my elbows are going to come slightly forward, and I'm going to do about a 2-inch dip, and then I'm going to stand up out of my dip and press the bar overhead. So the dip, my shoulders stay over my heels. I'm going to dip about 2 inches, and my knees are going to drive out. I kind of like to cue this like if I'm riding a fat little pony, that's what it would look like. So here's my dip, and then I'm going to press up and then send the bar overhead, just like so. That is our push press. All right, some common flaws in the push press might be when you dip to lean forward or come to your toes. You want to make sure those shoulders are sitting right over the top of your heels. And then also in the push press, some people want to press early before they've actually stood up out of their push press. So get those legs working first and then let the bar follow suit. All right, make sure you're locked out at the top. Now we're going to move on into the push jerk and the split jerk. All right guys, this push jerk and the split jerk are very similar, but in the split jerk, my feet are actually going to split. So the same thing happens with these movements. They're more of an explosive, quick movement. So I'm going to demonstrate them without the bar first, and I'll show you with the bar. So push jerk setup is very similar to the push press. My feet are running under my hips. My elbows are slightly forward. And instead of push pressing like I just did, I'm going to push, and right after I press, I'm going to drop and punch under that bar, okay? So I say push, drop, and punch. So it looks like this: push, drop, and punch. And then to complete the movement, I need to stand up. All my joints are locked out before the bar comes down. The split jerk is very similar, but now my feet are going to actually split. So my front foot and my back foot kind of equally split apart. So what that looks like, and then when I'm done with the movement, I'm going to take a half a step back with my front foot, a half a step forward with my back foot, and then the bar comes down. All right, so very similar as far as what the movement is doing, except for now in the split jerk, you're able to get down a little bit deeper. This movement can be really helpful for people that have limited mobility. So we're going to try both with the barbell. Again, I'm approaching the bar. I'm going to wrap my elbows first, open that hand up, give the bar to my shoulders to take off the rack. I'm going to step back. Now at this point, I want to keep my elbows forward, but if you can, you want to get your hands around that bar. Some people don't have that mobility yet, but just do the best you can, keeping those elbows forward. Now from here, I'm going to dip, drop, and punch. And stand. Stand. All right, split jerk. Same thing, but now I'm going to split my feet. Front foot, back foot, bar down. From the front position, bar down. Okay, now we're going to talk about a few things that could go wrong in the split jerk. Now, the split jerk, the finished position, is somewhat like a lunge. It's not quite as deep as a lunge, but you want to make sure that the knee, the hip, the shoulder, and the bar are somewhat in alignment. Sometimes when people are learning this movement, they want to thrust the bar forward and actually sit back on their heel. So they're not aligned at all. So we want to make sure that bar, again, finishes over the top, the back of our head, and downstream, you're seeing everything somewhat in alignment. The other thing is the heel needs to be up off the ground. So if you land with your heel down, just make that adjustment before you close. Lastly, the front foot, when people split, sometimes you'll see them split and they'll start like kind of wobbling around on their foot. The way I like to cue this is stomp the ground or stomp a cockroach. You want a nice flat stomp when you land that split jerk. Make sure that that full foot is covering the ground and you're not rocking around on it. That is the push jerk and the split jerk.